Done is better than perfect, and I certainly know about that. I have a lot of examples I could give you. At almost 55, I have plenty. But I'm just going to focus on one, which is the most recent. I hope that it will inspire you to start something, whatever it is. It could be writing a book. I've written a few myself and published them. But if what you want to do is start your own business, launch a new career, take up a hobby, the time to do it is always now, whether you're 20, 30, 40, or 70. When I started Viva50.com, which you can go and check out and see what it looks like, 4 years ago, when I had just turned 50, I didn't even have a logo. And I started it as a personal blog in WordPress.com because I didn't want to pay for hosting and all that stuff that really scared me. I started out as a personal blog, and then I migrated to WordPress.org. But when I really thought, okay, I really want to do this. This is it. I didn't wait to have a server. I didn't wait to have a gazillion page views. I didn't wait for anything. I simply started creating content myself. My husband's an author as well, so I asked him to contribute a few pieces. He's also a photographer, so between the both of us, we pulled together a website in a very, very short time. And it was certainly not perfect. It certainly isn't perfect right now. But after 4 years, I look back and realize, had I not started and just run with it, Viva50.com wouldn't exist. My family wouldn't be living off of Viva50 Media. In fact, I didn't incorporate as a business until a year later. I didn't launch the business, and I remember I did a Twitter party, Viva50 launch, and all this fun stuff. I didn't send press releases out. I didn't make a big deal out of it until after a year. And after a year, and it wasn't anything that I planned to do that way, I just thought, if I let myself think too much about this, I'm just not going to do it. Because as a writer, as a lifetime author and writer, I know too well what writer's block, what fear of anything really can do to you, and that it blocks you. So for me, the path of least resistance really is to take action, any kind of action, no matter how small. I know too many writers who, to name writers, it could be bloggers, it could be business people, it could be anything really, where you spend so much time preparing to have the perfect desk, to have the perfect computer, to have the perfect pen. When your kids are off to school, you will do it. The perfect time is never, it is now, with all the imperfections in it. I certainly didn't even have money to start that business, but I convinced my husband that we put around, we always argue about this, I say it's 500, he says it's 1,000. It's probably somewhere in between. Maybe he's right, who knows. The fact is that it was not a lot of money to put into starting a business. It went to a logo, it went to getting a web host, and eventually I also convinced him that I had to pay a few writers, not a lot, but we paid, to have some content that wasn't just mine. I invested in a stock photo service. Eventually I learned how to take my own pictures, and I knew how to manage the social media, so I did all that myself until later on I was able to hire a team that works with me now, and they're really good at what they do. I give them the directions, and it's almost like they're me. It is really, really cool to be able to work with people who are as enthusiastic as you are about what you're doing. But the point is that I did not feel ready, and I really still don't. It's just like when I decided to relaunch my YouTube channel, I realized that I had been, if you look at it, I haven't taken anything down. You can see the first videos where I wasn't really quite sure what I was doing. Because of what I heard in conferences, I thought, okay, so I have to have an intro, I have to have an outro, I have to kind of stage this, I have to have a script to do my videos, I have to do it like this person, like that person. And I was so intimidated that when I did do that intro and outro, which now I look at, and you can, as I said, you can go back to my videos and see the first ones, I don't like it, but I'm just leaving it there because I want to see my own progression, the same way as when I started Instagram and I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't even have a purpose with it, and over time my Instagram, which you can go and follow at Lorraine C. Ladish, it has evolved and my pictures are better, and I decided that I wanted to microblog. I enjoy doing the stories on Instagram and all that, and it's an evolution. But had I not started, nothing would have been done. I realized, well, the same goes for writing books. I'm going to show you one in Spanish, Tu mejor edad para tener una vida extraordinaria, Your Best Age to Have an Extraordinary Life, which is published by HarperCollins. But I also have a book in English, which is Reach, From Single Mom on Welfare to Digital Entrepreneur. Reach, From Single Mom on Welfare to Digital Entrepreneur, which you can find on Amazon, which narrates a little bit how I lost everything in 2008 and then reinvented myself professionally and personally. Professionally, I did it online, and I also didn't feel I was ready, but I did it. So the point is that, going back, for example, to the YouTube videos and how I've relaunched the channel, I realized that I enjoyed doing Facebook Lives, and that was how I was going to do my YouTube videos. I do have one thing going for me, which is consistency. That when I set my mind to doing something, I'm consistent. So whether the videos now are good or they're bad, they're certainly getting better. I look at the first few ones a couple months ago, I just think they're better now, and they will be better in the future. If you're afraid of writing a book and you are thinking that you have to have the perfect desk, the perfect computer, the perfect idea, you're probably never going to have that. And if you did, the responsibility you feel of having to produce wonderful work can be so daunting that in itself can kill your buzz. I recommend starting now. If you look me up on Amazon, again, Lorraine C. Laddish, you'll see I have a number of books, mainly in Spanish because I was raised in Spain. Only recently have I started writing books. I write blogs, everything else I write in English, but books in English as well. I have never felt prepared and ready before writing almost any of my books, I think. Even though I've been writing and publishing for now 24 years, close to 25. That is a long time, half my life. And still, what keeps me from getting blocked and doing nothing is simply doing. How to do this? People think fear goes away. It might for some people. For me, it was a matter of making friends with my fear and realizing that I had to do whatever I set my mind to doing despite the fear. For example, I came back to yoga at 52, and if you look at my pictures in Instagram, it's not even 3 years of practicing yoga, and somebody said, "Are you sure you haven't done yoga before?" And I'm like, yeah, well, when I was super young and all this, but if I had waited for the perfect time to restart yoga, it wouldn't have happened. So my tip, it might not work for you, but it works for me, is to pretend that I'm not scared. I know I have this inner voice in me that is telling me, you can't do this, it's gonna suck, nobody's gonna like it, it's whatever it is, it still happens, even when I do the videos. And what I do is, okay, I tell my kids the same thing. I think, thank you to this editor I have inside, thank you, I understand you, I see you, I understand your fear, but I'm gonna do this anyway. Even when I'm editing the videos, I am shocked at what I have to edit out. I wish they were better, but I realize, just as with my books, just as with Instagram, just as with my career writing, there is nothing to improve upon unless you do something. You have a dream, don't wait till everything is perfect. In fact, when I had started, I believe, viewa50.com, several women wanted to talk to me for my input on things that they were going to launch. 4 years later, my website is still going strong, and they haven't even launched anything yet, or maybe they won't. All we have is today. Once you start, you build momentum. If you don't start, that kind of is a momentum in and of itself. We all kind of thrive on some kind of status quo. So if you're not doing anything, you're going to be doing more of nothing. And if you're doing something, you're going to be inspired and motivated to do more. The more I do, the more I feel like doing. The less I do, the less I feel like doing. So if you're scared of launching your business, starting a blog, vlogging, Instagramming, whatever. Training for a marathon, take your pick. Start today. Start small, but be consistent. That is my message to you today. But be consistent. I speak from experience. As I said, there's an upside to being a certain age, and it is that I can look back and figure out how I accomplished certain things. One of them was by making friends with my fear, doing things before I was ready, starting now instead of later, not waiting for the perfect time, and once I started, being consistent. If you have any recommendations, if you have any feedback, please leave it in the comments. I will answer, I promise. And if you like what you see, don't forget to check out my other videos and subscribe to my channel.